evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. St. Francis House's 22nd annual All the Way Home Gala. I'm Shayna Seymour, co-anchor of Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5, the longest-running locally produced nightly news magazine show in the country. Each night, we tell the story of New England and the people who live here. Tonight, I'm honored to share the story of St. Francis House, the largest day shelter in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, serving thousands of individuals experiencing homelessness each year. St. Francis House's All the Way Home Gala brings together individuals, corporations, and community leaders to join in their work to end homelessness. Thanks to committed, generous supporters like you, funds raised through this gala will help St. Francis House provide basic rehabilitative and housing services to more than 500 individuals every day of the year, rain, shine, or snow, no questions asked. Tonight, you'll hear how St. Francis House supports people in their journey toward recovery and the many ways St. Francis House makes a difference in the lives of their guests. It is my pleasure to introduce your first speaker of the evening. He is an incredible advocate for the guest and mission of St. Francis House and has been a committed member of the board of directors for over 20 years, the past 10 as chairperson. Please join me in welcoming the St. Francis House board chair, Tim Egan.
Thank you, Shayna, for that wonderful introduction and joining us tonight as MC. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Egan, and on behalf of the St. Francis House Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our second virtual All the Way Home Gala. Tonight, you'll be hearing a bit about the difference St. Francis House makes in the lives of their guests, how their programs and services help people renew their self-determination, reclaim their identities, and rebuild their lives. In my time on the board, I have seen the organization continuously expand and enhance their work to meet each emerging need, from the opioid epidemic to the affordable housing crisis. St. Francis House's response to homelessness is constantly evolving to ensure accessible, equitable, and impactful support for all who seek it. Although originating from a simple breadline, 37 years later, St. Francis House has grown to become the largest day shelter in the state, providing comprehensive, integrated services to more than 6,000 individuals every year. They provide basic refuge services along with behavioral health, income maximization, and housing programs that are holistic, innovative, and infused with compassion every step of the way. I've been able to spend time volunteering and working alongside the staff, and even with the tremendous growth over the past 37 years, I can tell you St. Francis House has never lost its soul. Every day, the staff welcome our guests with kindness, compassion, and respect. If you've never been to St. Francis House, please come to visit. Tonight is just a taste. Come and really immerse yourself in our work. You won't be disappointed. In fact, I hope you will become one of the many members of the community that is St. Francis House. We cannot do this work alone and depend on the support and partnerships of every individual, community, and corporation to help meet the complex needs of the men and women we serve. Tonight's All the Way Home event could not happen without the generosity of our sponsors, and we want to take time to recognize them. This evening, we have two principal sponsors who make an amazing commitment to our gala each year. Thank you to Bank of America for your generous support and to our anonymous donor. And to our presenting sponsors, we are extremely grateful as well. The John and Mary Corcoran Family Foundation, the Amelia Family Foundation, the New Balance Foundation, Natixis Investment Managers, and Rosalind and Richard Slifka have all made a substantial commitment to this year's All the Way Home. And we are so grateful for your big-hearted contributions. This year, we have a goal to raise $750,000 to support the services of St. Francis House. In order to meet our goal, we need to raise $100,000 tonight from all of you watching this evening. So anytime you feel moved to support this event tonight, All you have to do is click on the donate button at the bottom of your screen. You can be assured you are supporting a worthy cause. I want to say thank you to all of the St. Francis House staff for going above and beyond every single day of the year. And thank you to each and every one of you viewing tonight's program. We are so grateful for your generous commitment year after year.
Thank you, Tim, for sharing your St. Francis House experience and for reminding us of tonight's generous sponsors, without whom the All the Way Home Gala would not be possible. Our next speaker is a mother, a daughter of immigrants, and fiercely believes that we can solve our deepest challenges through building community. In 2014, she became the first Asian American woman to serve on Boston City Council. 2 years later, she made history once again as the first woman of color elected as council president. Last November, she shattered the glass ceiling of Boston's highest elected office as the first woman and person of color to be elected mayor of the city of Boston. Mayor Wu has come into office with a bold vision for our city. She has long recognized that safe, healthy, accessible, affordable housing is a human right. In her first days as a city councilor, Mayor Wu visited homeless shelters throughout Boston, including St. Francis House. And now, as mayor, she has made ending chronic homelessness a priority. It is my pleasure to introduce your mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu.
Hi everyone, I'm Mayor Michelle Wu. I'm thrilled to be part of the St. Francis House All the Way Home Gala, a moving testament to the resiliency of Boston's residents. Hundreds of residents come to St. Francis House every day to access a variety of services: a shower, a hot meal, fresh clothing, or housing. It is not an exaggeration to say that St. Francis House has the potential to change the course of people's lives. St. Francis House provides 102 units of permanent, supportive, affordable housing right in the heart of downtown Boston. Their Housing Resource Center helps individuals who are seeking independent housing, and they also provide household essentials for those transitioning into an apartment. While hunger remains high in eastern Massachusetts, St. Francis House is the only place in Greater Boston where adults can get a wholesome breakfast and lunch every day of the year. The Behavioral Health Department at St. Francis House provides more than 11,000 sessions a year, treating people at the complex intersection of mental health issues and substance use disorder. I want to thank the commitment and generosity of St. Francis House for all the work that you do. It's not easy to do this work, but it is so necessary. I wish you all the very best at this gala and hope to see you in person next year.
Thank you, Mayor Wu, and congratulations on your historic office. Before we continue, it is time to remind you that whenever you feel compelled, you can access the donate button right below our video feed to contribute to the incredible work that St. Francis House does every single day. At St. Francis House, each and every guest that crosses their threshold is treated with compassion, dignity, and respect. St. Francis House knows that homelessness and poverty are an experience, not an identity, and that individuals experiencing poverty and homelessness face barriers and challenges every day. This year, All the Way Home honors a community member who is committed to compassion and kindness. He has served as chief judge of the Providence Municipal Court since 1985, where due to his uniquely compassionate judicial temperament, he is often referred to as the nicest judge in the world. You may know him from his Emmy-nominated hit series Caught in Providence, which shows the actual daily court proceedings with real people. He truly exemplifies the values of St. Francis House and infuses them into the judicial system. It is my pleasure to introduce this year's All the Way Home honoree, Judge Frank Caprio.
I have the message that you don't have any money. I have the message that you have a young son, and I have the message that you have to move out today. And so just relax and answer my questions. Do you have a place to go to?
No. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now, your motor vehicle is booted, so you can't even move the motor vehicle. Okay. So I'm going to fine you $100 for the boot, and that's going to be paid by Patricia Williams. And I'm going to fine you $200 for the tickets, and that's going to be paid by Matthew Delgamo. So it's because of the generosity of those wonderful people that you're going to be able to get your vehicle back today, leave you some money to take care of your son, and hopefully get you relocated. Okay, so you said something about you're hopeless. You're not hopeless. You have an awful lot of people that are very generous and very kind-hearted who are thinking of you. And I think good things are going to happen, okay? Just don't lose hope.
All the defendants in my court are people who have violated a traffic law in Providence or have a minor misdemeanor. They are summoned to court by a summons, telling them that they haven't paid a fine and that they now have to come in and have a trial. All the court programs that are on television, those are all performed in a studio, and the participants are all paid for their appearance. In our court, it's a binding judgment with the full authority of the laws of the state of Rhode Island. It is not a show. It is not a TV production. It is a judicial proceeding.
I've had a tough year already. I'm on SSDI. I don't have $400 to give you on top of whatever else. I really do. I just had to come up with money for a new apartment. I'm still paying Russell and Boyle for my son's funeral. I'm just really having a tough time, Your Honor.
I think we can all express our sympathy to you. I'm going to reduce this to $50. How much time do you need to pay it?
I have it on me now.
All right. That's not going to leave you without any money, is it?
I'll leave it with $5. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm not going to leave you with $5. I'm not going to leave you. I'm going to dismiss everything.
Thank you.
All right. With our best wishes and hope that things turn around good for you.
It's been my experience that many people just want to have the ability to have someone listen to them. We have some people come in for a parking ticket, and they will tell me their life story about problems with addiction, maybe about problems with starvation or homelessness, or a number of things. The answer to me is obvious. They need some help. They need some help.
You're a single mom?
Yes, I am.
So I'm going to use both of those checks to pay for your fine,
Oh my God, thank you. Oh,
and you can
you're gonna make me cry. Thank you so much.
spend the money on the 3 kids.
Thank you.
Okay.
The law should be compassionate and understanding and considerate and have empathy for people. There's nothing wrong with the courts doing that, particularly at my level. And anyone that doesn't see what's going on in the world today is living in a vacuum. There are people out there who are starving. The most affluent nation in the world. There are people who are sleeping on the streets, living in their cars with children. So, all of those factors I take into consideration.
So in this dining room, all the volunteers will serve, and we have, staff.
Visiting St. Francis House was an enlightening experience for me. The individuals who were at St. Francis House, I was amazed at their stories.
Wonderful instructor.
Each one had a very compelling story.
St. Francis House has been a huge, it's been a saving grace for me. With this program, I am now feeling like I'm finding myself. I'm getting back the skills that I once had that I lost.
I was particularly impressed with the staff at St. Francis House. They feed over 180,000 people a year. They provide housing at the facility. They provide counseling. St. Francis House is doing God's work. They literally save people's lives. They offer them love, comfort, understanding, compassion. They make them feel whole again. I just can't say enough good things about St. Francis House. We're not going to be judged by the dreams that we made come true for ourselves. We're going to be judged by the dreams we made come true for others. And we're going to be judged by the hope that we inspire in the hopeless. and the difference that we make in the lives that we touch.
Thank you, Judge Caprio, for reminding us to always look at the world through the eyes of the poor. You rule from the bench with a grace and humility, and in doing so are a tremendous power of example to all of us. Our next speaker has led St. Francis House for the past 24 years, embracing the philosophy of servant leader, seeking for herself and for St. Francis House opportunities to serve others. It is my pleasure to introduce Karen LaFrasia, President and CEO of St. Francis House.
Thank you, Shayna, and thank you everyone for joining us here tonight. Last year, when we were gathered in this forum, I had hoped this year we would be together. But whether live and in person or together virtually, I want you to know I have felt and continue to feel your love and support. And thank you, Judge Caprio. Your message reaches a worldwide audience and teaches us that justice is best served with love and compassion. And like your namesake, St. Francis, you are an instrument of peace. From the bench and in the community, you sow love, deliver pardon, and inspire faith, hope, and light. And every day at St. Francis House, we aspire to do the same. Whether coming from the street or a shelter, the 500 men and women who come to St. Francis House every day all have one thing in common. They have all suffered profound loss. Losses that have ended in homelessness, and the losses are many. The loss of a place to live, a job, their family, their health or sobriety, and the loss of things you can't see, like self-esteem, dreams, and hope. I often struggle to find the words to describe what this feels like for our guests. Recently, one of our guests, Ray, who struggled for years with drugs and alcohol as a way to cope with the pain and the losses in his life, shared with me his journal. My heart ached as he described a violent childhood, the loss of his mother, and life on the streets. He wrote, "If people could only see what I went through, they would understand. I have a lot of anger inside me, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of it. There are times I pray to God to end my suffering so I don't have to deal with the pain anymore." Like so many others, he first came to St. Francis House for a hot meal and to escape the hostility of the street. But what he found was so much more. He found a community of people that welcomed him, treated him with respect and dignity, and restored his faith that recovery is possible. While the pain is still there, every day he shows up at our Room to Grow Recovery Support Center. And because of his faith in God, his higher power, and the support of the other Recovery Support Center members, he remains sober and hopeful that he will achieve the next milestone along his recovery journey, a home of his own. Now, our housing navigation team will help Ray find a place to live, because St. Francis House helps people recover in the broadest sense of the word from whatever they have lost. In a world full of uncertainty, our guests know they only need to go to one place, St. Francis House, to find everything they need to recover. Every day of the year, they can find nutritious meals, warm showers, and clean clothes. On-site medical care from our wonderful partner, Boston Healthcare for the Homeless. Support for a mental health or substance use disorder. Guidance and the resources necessary to find employment from one of our talented employment specialists or in our Sullivan Family Moving Ahead program. And for everyone St. Francis House is a place where they can find a pathway to housing. And while the recovery journey can be slow, sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, we never give up on anyone. We know our guests are a work in progress, and so are we. We're always listening, looking for new ways and expanded ways to help our guests heal. This is critically important as so many of our guests still struggle with an active addiction. For them, taking that first step toward recovery is a giant leap. For so many, just the thought of coming into St. Francis House and contemplating recovery is terrifying. So we have taken our message of hope to the streets. This past summer, we hired 2 amazing women, Shayna and Verna. Every day, they walk the streets surrounding St. Francis House, looking for people who are too sick or scared to make their way inside. Their job is to build trust and help people stay as safe as they can be until the day we hope they are willing to engage with treatment. And when that day comes, when somebody decides they're ready for treatment, we want them to get into a program immediately, not wait for a referral to come through or for their name to come up on a waiting list. They can't wait, and neither can we. So this year, that will change. We will embed an intensive outpatient treatment program within St. Francis House. Having services on site will enable treatment on demand. We can quite literally take someone by the hand and introduce them to a clinically trained addiction specialist who will begin treatment immediately. This is where we excel, bringing hope and recovery to people who have given up on themselves. Like our founders before us, we have a moral obligation to bring new opportunities to those who still struggle to survive while living on the fringe. Nowhere is this need more acute than for the women living in tents in the area known as Mass and Cass. Because of our expertise, we have been called upon by the city and the state to take action. Every day, vulnerable women are at risk of dying related to their addiction, their health conditions, and as winter is now upon us, their exposure to extreme cold. The situation is beyond urgent. So in response to this crisis, as we speak, St. Francis House is now opening a 6-month transitional housing program for women. The Willows at Woods, named for the regenerative powers of the willow tree, will be a place like no other. Our first goal is to quite simply save the lives of these women. Beyond that, through the power of unconditional love and acceptance, we will help these women regain their respect and dignity so they can chart their own course of recovery from addiction and homelessness. Whatever someone is recovering from, the road is not easy. It is full of unexpected twists and turns. Never is it straightforward. But for everyone who comes to St. Francis House, it is possible. And we are there every step of the way. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Alan, a guest of St. Francis House and a member of our Recovery Support Center, who will share with us his personal journey of recovery and his hopes and dreams for the future.
I was born in Brockton, Massachusetts. My father was Kenny. My mother was Jeanette. I had a brother, Kenny. When I was 6 years old, they separated, and my brother was 7. And my mother was bringing us up by herself, single mom. She drove school bus in the daytime, and then at night she worked in the shoe factories. And it was tough. You know, we were on surplus cheese and peanut butter, you know, with food stamps, no money, you know. But my mother was the greatest. I just was out running the streets, hanging with people I shouldn't have been hanging with, and getting in trouble. You know, I did a couple juvenile times, you know, but my mother was always there. She was always in the courtroom with me, you know, and I feel bad to this day that I had to put her through all that. I was doing volumes. I woke up in a police station and didn't even know what was going on. And here I am charged with house invasion, attempted murder, armed robbery while masked. And I couldn't even remember most of it. I couldn't believe it. That was the end of my life right there. I own up to everything I did. Everything. You know, I just wish I didn't put that on my mother. They put me in an aggressive block because I was in for a violent crime. You know, you had to do things that you didn't really want to do, but you had no choice. I got stabbed in the back, got a clapped lung. You know, you always had to be on your guard, you know, and I was supposed to do 2 years and then see the parole board, and I ended up getting denied 10 times. She had cancer, breast cancer. So they took me there to see her. You know, they had me in shackles and stuff, and they had cop on both sides of me, and they wouldn't even leave the room. They wouldn't even unhandcuff. And my mother was right there. Couldn't ask for a better mother. I mean, we didn't have much, but we had each other, you know? The 10 years I did in prison just screwed me up. You know, it just made me this hard, mean person. You know, didn't trust nobody, you know, had PTSD, anxiety. Yeah, it's just, you know, because it made me the person that, you know, I didn't want to be. She already had 2 kids from a previous marriage when I met her, and they were both young kids. She was the best. Brittany's the love of my life, you know? I mean, that's my everything, you know? When she was born, the best thing that ever happened to me.
Clearly he had, you know, a disease that I wasn't aware of. Because no one explained that to me. I just knew my dad's in jail. I don't know why, he's just in jail. I cried myself to sleep a lot when he was away. And when he was there, like I said, him and my mom were fighting all the time. I couldn't have friends over because it was embarrassing.
I drank so much. I was drinking 30 nips a day, you know, and when you don't have it, you're sick as a dog. You know, I'm sitting there waiting at the packy at 8 o'clock in the morning for it to open. I was sober for 11 years, from 2002 to 2012. I was sober. And my father died. And, you know, that killed me because I got close to him when I got out. And he lived right across the street from me. And then my brother died, 2019. And I lost it. When he died, I lost it.
He was in and out of detoxes. I would bring him there. He would call me to pick him up like 6 days later. Promised he would be better and stop drinking, but he always went back.
I was living in a tent in the woods for 3 months behind a package store. And every morning at 8 o'clock when the package opened, I was in the package. I couldn't do it no more. I just left the tent, left everything there, walked to my daughter's house and asked her to bring me to detox. When I found St. Francis, it was a big relief. They just helped me so much.
My first impression of Alan was when he first came in, he was a shy person. He had a lot of pain, a lot of, anxieties, fears, just like a lot of our members do. We just engaged with him. Our coordinators, other members just started talking to him. What I saw in Alan was this total change. So I saw him coming out of his shell more. I saw him talking more. He was participating in the center, wiping down the tables, serving lunch. And I was like, wow. We just took him by the hand. We brought him downstairs to case management, and he just flew.
I mean, you're a single man. A studio would be fine, but a room.
I don't need much,
I asked Alan, what kind of assistance do you need from me? And then we collaborated on a plan. And it just started out, I need housing. What type of housing? I'm not looking for anything big. I'll start small. I'll rent a room. I just want to not be homeless anymore, and we can work from there.
Alan has come a long way, just not only participating in the center, but the way he interacts with people and helps new members here. He's a true miracle. It's exactly what the center wants for people, is for them to just start growing and start believing in themselves, and that's what Alan does.
He's loving, he's caring, he is a mentor. And all I can say is that I'm proud of Alan for the man he's become today over the last 6 months that I've been working with him.
I'm extremely proud of him. He's doing very well. I'm just glad he's back on his feet. I think St. Francis House has been amazing and has helped him so much. I don't know where he would be without the St. Francis House.
I feel a lot better about myself now. The hope for my future is someday have my own place, a studio apartment or something where I can have my grandkids over, and be with them more often. I love them. I miss them. Thank God for St. Francis House, because they took me in and they welcomed me and they did it, everything I asked them if they could do, they were right there. St. Francis House did save my life.
When I first met Alan, he shared with me the pain he felt when he lost his father and then his brother. I was once again reminded that every person who comes to St. Francis House is someone's son, mother, father, brother, sister, or grandparent. And the loss that is homelessness isn't experienced solely by the guests. That loss is experienced by everyone in the family. But equally important is the relief and happiness when someone's loved one has recovered and is reunited with their family. I wish I had a nickel for every time one of our guests thanked me for helping them get their life back, for every time they showed me a picture of their child, or told me how grateful they were for being able to be welcomed back in the lives of their families. We wouldn't need to do these fundraisers. But I don't have those nickels, so I am going to have to ask you for your dollars. Your support tonight is crucial. We have a goal to raise $100,000 before the night is over. And I know we can do it with your support. So before you leave, all you need to do is click on the donate button on the screen, on the bottom of your screen. And with one motion, you can relieve someone's suffering and help them find their way all the way home. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you, Shayna, for serving as tonight's MC. I will turn it back to you now to close out the evening.
Thank you, Karen. It has been my pleasure to serve as MC for tonight's event. And thank you, Alan, for your courage in sharing in such an intimate way your personal journey. There cannot be a dry eye tuned in tonight. What an incredible reminder that our stories are being written every day. We are all works in progress, and each path to progress is not linear or predictable. We are better together when we allow ourselves to accept support and when we open our hearts to help each other. St. Francis House is that support system for all of their guests, but they would not be able to do the work that they do without all of you. Your generous commitment is crucial to the guests, the values, and the mission of St. Francis House. You can help support guests like Alan in taking the first step toward rebuilding their lives. Scroll to the bottom of your screen and click Donate to make a difference today. Thank you all for tuning in tonight for St. Francis House's All the Way Home Gala. We hope to see you again in person soon. Happy New Year and good night.